Meet your hosts, two CEOs making a difference, Dr. Stephanie Wall and Hope Jackson. Her story, our story, 1 hour of power. Did you know there's a huge disconnect between what we want and what we go after? As women, sometimes we feel unfulfilled and confused about our purpose. And these are just some of the reasons why we created Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power, so that we could connect with other like-minded women from all over the world. So if you are ready to finally feel empowered enough to change your life, come on and join us at Her Story, Our Story. Do you have a story of transformation, of empowerment, of change, of growth? We would love to interview you. Be our guest on Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power.
Welcome. Hey, so Hope, we are talking menopause. I can hardly wait. And I mean, we so many things to share with you. So happy New Year, everyone. Dr. Stephanie Wall here with my co-host, the fabulous Hope Jackson. And we have to do everything in decency and order. So I'm going to fall back so Hope can open us up properly. Hope.
Well, good evening, everyone. And as Stephanie said, we're going to open up with decency, order, just giving God all the honor and glory. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this new Her Story, Our Story season in 2023, Lord Father God. We just ask that you continue to lead and guide us and guide the guests that come on just to share information and to share their story so that we can help other women out there, Lord Father God. We thank you for our guests today as we just talk about some things that affect women and women's health. So, Lord Father God, we just lift all these things up in your mighty and precious name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So before we bring up our guest, Dr. Clarke Bennett, we're going to show a quick video because I know that many of you have been listening to us talk about this doggone pellet for over a year, might have been 2 years, but we've been talking about the pellet. It started with me talking to you about somebody telling me about how I thought, and then I went and investigated for myself and then start using it, and I have not stopped talking about it. So I want to show you a video, and then I'm going to bring on our guest, and then we're going to dive right in. Y'all good with it? All right, let me put my glasses on so I can see. I'm trying to be cute, but I need my glasses to see what's going on. All right, so y'all know whenever I'm presenting, it's always some drama. So just hold tight. But share my screen. Yes. But hope as all has been well. Yes. Hope.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting better.
Okay, good. Wait a minute. I want to see because I have a couple of tabs open, and this is the one I want. Okay, hold on here. Now I want to open this up. Okay, can you guys see it? Oh, can you hear it? No, because the volume is not up. Hold on.
Yes,
Hold
no
on.
sound.
When it comes to weight loss, we don't just throw diet pills at you or the same diet plan or eating plan for every patient. We offer appetite suppressants when appropriate. Maybe a ketogenic type eating plan or intermittent fasting is something that you're curious about. Call 410-672-2700. Visit our website at abetteryouMedispa.com.
All right, wait a minute, because you know I got the sound still going, and I can hear. Oh. All right. So now we're going to bring up, without further ado, so we can get this party started, Dr. Clarke Bennett. Bring it to the stage. All right. Hello, Dr. Clarke Bennett. Y'all know I love to change my little frame. So here we go.
Hi, good afternoon.
So welcome. Thank you for your yes. And trust me, the folks got questions. Is even those folks that couldn't make it tonight are like, girl, I got to watch the replay. And they're going to be all over this one. So at the bottom of this everybody's screen, whether you're on LinkedIn, whether you're 1 Million Lives Transform, or whether you might go on our YouTube channel of 1 Million Lives Transform, there at the bottom of the screen is the website. So don't keep asking me. It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom, and it's going to keep scrolling. All right. So I'm going to fall back because Dr. Clarke, what's going to happen now is that we have a little opening, and Hope has a couple questions, and we're going to come back and we're going to dive in deeper. But thank you for your yes. I can't wait to get into it. Okay, Hope. So
I can't hear you, Hope. You're muted.
Look, I done picked up Stephanie's bad habit in 2023. But Dr. Clarke Bennett, we're so excited to have you on the show tonight just to share your wealth and information and knowledge. But first of all, we want to know, what is your 5-word story? So you just give brief 5 words about what it is that, you know, your goal and purpose is and what you do. Don't go in detail, just kind of give the 5 words that just talks about what you're.
Stephanie,
Oh, 6 is fine. 5 to 6 is fine. 6 is good.
Live better, feel better, function better.
Okay. So just kind of explain briefly like what that entails for you. I mean, of course, we know you are a doctor, but what does that really mean, and how do you want to serve the people with living better, feeling better? Just kind of explain it a little bit.
So living better to me means really being intentional in doing things for the betterment of our own health and wellness. And as women, especially professional women, we tend to often focus on taking care of everyone else, and we put our own selves on the back burner. Once we are intentional in living better, we tend to feel better. When we physically feel better, we're more apt to move our bodies, eat better, and so forth. So in living better, feeling better, we tend to function better in the workplace and at home. So that basically explains my live better, feel better, and function better.
Oh, thank you. That sounds good. So one other fun question we like to ask everybody. If you had the opportunity to travel anywhere you wanted to go, would you pick a mountainy type resort or a beach type resort?
You know, I love the beach. I love my bare foot on the sand, and you know, in the water. I tend to feel grounded and at home at the beach. I'm from Jamaica, West Indies. Even though I love the beach, I can't swim. And I've always said I want to take swimming lessons, but just haven't. But I really love being on the beach.
Okay, well, thank you. Most of our guests all love going to the beach. I know Stephanie and I do it as well. So that's kind of a consensus. So I guess we're going to bring Stephanie up just so we can kind of get in and really have this discussion on this menopause, whether you're perimenopause or you're full-blown menopause, or you just don't know where you at in this stage of life in menopause.
let me say this, and Hope, I took note that you did one of my numbers, but they're on mute. Okay, one for Hope. Okay, but I want to say this: one, not another person from the West Indies or even the Caribbean or somewhere where the beaches are that doesn't mess with the water like that. I am going to have to check this whole thing. I mean, what was the last person? I want to say, was she from Trinidad or one of the? And she was like, "Oh, I hate the beach." I was like,
yeah,
what?
she lives it. No, she not. Dr. Clarke says she likes it. She just can't swim.
She just can't swim. Okay, well,
but yeah, the other one, she lived on the beach but doesn't like the sand.
No.
Dr. Clarke. Now, Dr. Clarke, you know they always said people of color can't swim. Now we cannot have that. Wait, I can swim. We're gonna fix it. We gotta fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus.
Yes,
but Dr. Clarke, I want you to, and I was gonna share a video about it, but I think I want you to talk about it. One of the things, just we need to get out the gate. What is menopause? And what is the difference between menopause and perimenopause and all the different types of menopauses? What is it? And how do you know if you may be beginning to experience it?
So menopause essentially is the cessation or the end of our menstrual cycle. And that is in line with the loss of estrogen that our body produces, as a woman. Once that starts to happen,
We can experience some irregularities in our menstrual cycle, and we start feeling certain symptoms. Among many of the symptoms that patients complain about, you may start having some trouble sleeping, and it could be falling asleep or staying asleep. You may feel fatigued and tired during the day. You wonder what's going on with with my energy. And a lot of it is because you haven't slept that well. Your moods start to change. You start to become a little bit more irritable, cranky, anxiety increases. Some patients go through depression or low moods. That's often, a very, very common symptom of menopause. And we see more of those mental health diagnoses now over the past 2 to 3 years with the COVID pandemic. Patients often complain also about increasing in belly weight, or gosh, Dr. Clarke, I'm dieting, I'm exercising, but the weight just isn't coming off. In fact, I'm gaining weight. Some patients complain about joint pain, um, decreasing strength, loss of libido. And libido is interesting. Libido is our appetite for sexual relations with our partner. And, many women go through that, but it's interesting because men also go through andropause because of low testosterone. Women need testosterone as well. That in large part, affects our libido. For ladies specifically, vaginal dryness starts to happen, um, hot flashes, night sweats, and those really are the most common symptoms of hormonal deficiency or imbalance or low testosterone when we're only talking about men. But ladies, as I said, also need some testosterone. Obviously, not as much as men, but ladies also need testosterone. I can't hear you.
What I would do is hit buttons and knock myself all the way out. All right, so this is the question I have, because I find that many people don't realize,
Mhm,
they think they are in peri,
mhm.
but they're in full. Because
Right.
we think that because I thought
Mhm,
that I was in peri for in fact, I for a very long time, because I wasn't having severe flashes and my
mhm,
mood wasn't swinging from east to west as much. I experienced that was the clue for me, was some dryness.
mhm.
But it also dryness can be the result of medications I experienced before I went into peri even. And I didn't even know what I was in peri. I just was always saying that I'm premenopausal. I was saying it before I knew what I was. So how do you know you are in full versus peri?
Good questions, Stephanie. So, looking at labs is really the only way to know if you're in full menopause. We actually look at numbers. We don't touch a patient with any hormones without first doing a full panel of labs. Checking your thyroid hormones, your TSH, your female hormones like estrogen, your FSH, your LH. All these things we look at in combination to give you a diagnosis of menopause or perimenopause.
When what is the and I know do all women that experience menopause, do they all experience weight gain?
No, some patients have all of the symptoms that I mentioned, every single one of them, and some ladies may have a few of them. You don't have to have all the symptoms to be, diagnosed or classified as being in menopause per se.
And does menopause mean the end of your life as you know it?
Oh my gosh, it could be a new start. I was telling some patients today, the patients that I pelleted or offered the bioidentical hormone services maybe 5, 6 years ago, they look younger today than they did when I first met them 5, 6 years ago. So absolutely not. It's the beginning of a new, I say better life, even with menopause.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I better. So, but I want to know this and hope. So this, I got to bring Hope back up in because I remember us and Hope when I first started talking about this doggone pellet. They were like, "A what?" So, and to date, I want to say just like yesterday, I told someone about the pellet because they were like, "Ooh, this menopause." I was like, "You better get the pellet." They would look at me like, "Pellet? What are you talking about?" Pretty much the way I looked when I first heard about it. So tell us what are some things, how do you treat your patients that are experiencing menopause? And what is this pellet? Tell the people about the pellet.
I should just kind of see if I can find one to show you. But the pellet really just looks like a, slightly bigger than a rice grain. We do a simple in-office procedure to insert the pellet. And Dr. Stephanie, you can attest to how simple the procedure is, how pain-free I think the procedure is, how quick the procedure is. It's really not a big deal. If you do you want to share some of that?
Yes.
As a patient.
Yes. So I will tell you all now, listen, I went originally, I was looking for one. I knew that my body was going through some changes and with some weight things. And I also knew that I was experiencing something and it probably was affecting the weight. So I went to Dr. Clarke to find out more about this pellet, but also to talk to her about my weight. And she explained the whole process. And one of the first thing that she did was after asking me a series of questions to see where I was at in my headspace and what I've been doing and why I believed that I was experiencing menopause. And then she sent me for a series of blood tests. Now, you all, here's the deal. Nobody had sent me for a series of blood tests. In fact, nobody, and I have a female, so Dr. Clarke, you see she's a female African, a woman of color. Then I have a female gynecologist and I have a female primary care physician. None of them say, hey, let's go get this blood workup because you may be in menopause, right? But Dr. Clarke said not to say that, maybe I wasn't exhibiting, maybe I didn't talk about it because you never know, right? But I will tell you that I went and got this series of blood work. And from this blood work, which she showed to me, zero, pretty much zero estrogen. I will share that with you because it's important that you all understand I am vivacious. I was still trying to be engaging and encounter my husband, my love. But what happens is when you are engaging and having these encounters, he had to use extra lubrication and it can be very painful for me and for him. And I just couldn't understand what was going on. Well, what was going on? And see, this is real talk Wednesday. All right. I wasn't sure what was going on, but what was going on was the fact that I had pretty much no estrogen, which means that I was causing severe vaginal dryness. And Dr. Clarke, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. Mm-hmm. Which was also, and even many of you are probably saying, oh my gosh, my libido is in the garbage, or my mood is in the garbage, or I am moody and I don't know why. You think it's just it's just aging, and that may be some of it, or it may be your cycle, or it may be you are in menopause, right? So I, needless to say, show me what it was, and show me, okay, this is the options, and I opted to get the pellet. All right, so when I say the pellet, it's not one pellet, it's a couple of pellets, a few pellets, and they are it's a prescription based on my needs. So it might be some estrogen, it might be a little bit of testosterone, because even that was low for me. Ha! Shut the front door. Who knew? I never even knew that women needed I know, y'all. I knew some kind of sort of, but not to that. In my mind, it didn't require testosterone. You follow, right? Mm-hmm. So when I realized that even that was low, and that I needed a little tweak of that as well, although she had to get a little concoction. So each time I go, and it depends on, how she can talk to you about the length of period of time. But for me, it's significant time period, months in between. It's just a little, she literally puts like a little slit. And for me, it's like on the high hip area, buttock area there. A little T is slit. I can't feel it. She numbs it. She puts these pellets in there. Now, for me, I'm sure everybody is different, but for me, with that day, within hours, my it, my libido, it was a change. I mean, within hours, I could feel the difference. Within look, don't trust, don't look, don't take it from me. If you know my husband, ask him. And so, I mean, honestly, it was so much. So he was like, "Well, doggone, maybe I need some doggone pellets." And she'll talk about the fact that pellets aren't just for women.
Exactly. I treat many couples. I love treating couples because, oftentimes there are problems or friction in a relationship because one partner has libido, regular libido or high libido, and the other partner may not have any libido. I mean, as an example, I recall always specifically this one young man that came to see me, a few years ago. He was probably early 30s and he was having problems with his partner. He even brought her into the office, and I had to show her the fact that his testosterone was so low, even though he was pretty young. Like I said, he was around 30ish, which is kind of unusual. But once we did his treatment, she was so happy. They were having relations 2, 3 times a day, which was what she wanted, and she felt more secure and wanted in the relationship. So yes, we treat many men, and like I said, love treating couples because it really helps the relationship at home.
And Hope, just feel free to jump on up in here now, because I know you got questions. I know you did, but let me ask you this. So, besides the benefits of increased libido,
Hmm.
what are some of the other benefits? I wanted them to hear from you because they're from me. They're like, Steph, you always look like you're on 10, but that has nothing to do with how I feel inside. You follow what I'm saying? So, I want you to speak to what the benefits are
Sure.
besides
Yeah.
the libido.
So one of the biggest or most common symptom of hormone deficiency is trouble sleeping. Trouble sleeping. So that's a big one. And the second one is energy. So you're going to sleep better. You're going to have more energy during the day. And as I said before, it affects your entire sense of well-being. You're more calm, even though you're getting testosterone. And I think a lot of people associated testosterone, especially women, with rage and anger and you know being hypersexual. But the dosing is based on your age, your weight, and your lab values. So you're not getting too much testosterone, you're not getting too much estrogen, you're getting what you specifically need. So we talked about sleep, energy, the mood. It also helps with the fatty area around the belly that starts to happen with age in both men and women. Um, oh, I forgot about mental fog. Mental fogginess and concentration is also huge. I have, a few patients who come just mainly because of needing that mental clarity and the fogginess that, occurs with peri and menopause. So mental fog, focus, and concentration are also significantly improved when the hormones are balanced. Um, Joint pain is mitigated. I, treat patients for, pain, and it often augments or works synergistically with medical cannabis in helping lessen chronic pain. So that's also one of the reasons why some patients do the hormone therapy or pellet therapy is for pain or chronic pain control, and works great in conjunction, like I said, with the medical cannabis.
So, I have a
Strength,
question.
yeah.
I'm sorry, just because Jasmine Vega is asked, she wants to know what are helpful things that younger women that are approaching menopause can prepare for.
What can they do?
Yes.
So as with anything, good diet, not eating a lot of, processed foods, fat, exercising, moving your body on a regular basis will help lessen a lot of those, well, some of those menopausal symptoms, especially where the weight and strength is associated. So having a healthful lifestyle in general is beneficial.
Does the pellet help with, because one of the things that we talk about is your bones, the losing calcium. Does that help with that, or do you need to take additional supplements, or what do you suggest for that?
So as women age, estrogen goes down. The estrogen is responsible for some of the osteoblast activity to build bone density. With the loss of estrogen, your body really is not building bone as it did in the past. I, had a patient who was in osteoporosis. After pellet therapy, she went into osteopenia. So osteoporosis is, severe bone density loss. Osteopenia is, to a lesser degree, and normal is normal. So she went from osteoporosis, which is severe, to mild loss of bone density after the pellet therapy. So it does help with that as well.
One more thing, and I have another question, and then I know you said, girl, if you ask more questions, I'm trying to get my question in here. Okay, so is there any body that this is not for?
Sure. Patients, unfortunately, cancer is, very common. I don't or cannot treat active cancer patients if the patient with cancer is in remission over 5 years. I will consider it as long as her oncologist and GYN are also on board. So that's the main diagnosis that we're really with.
Is there any age that maybe, I don't know, is there an age or that you wouldn't consider, like older or younger, or I don't know?
So I've treated patients, in their young 30s all the way. I think my oldest lady is 83, and she started late. She started when she was like 79 in Arizona.
Baby, listen, everyone. Again, it is never too late for it. And here's the deal. The only way for me, and I want to preference for me because everybody's different, right, Dr. Clarke Bennett? This is for me the only way that I know it's time for me to go and to get. Oh, it might be time to get some more pellets, because it can be 3 months, 6 months, whatever, right? It is when I start feeling hot. Like for me, the symptoms return.
So I'm sorry, Stephanie. For everyone, there's sometimes one symptom that makes you make that phone call. So for instance, if I pellet you today and you start, like you said, you start having that libido come back first, that's going to be the first thing that's going to go 3-4 months down the line. So when your libido goes, it's time to give me a call and schedule, because that was the first thing that you experienced. So it's going to be the first thing to go on the back end.
And for me, you all, the first thing that went was that heat, followed by the libido. So but it's almost like simultaneously. But the first thing I noticed was that I wasn't hot. Like it was not. I was good. Like I want to say I did it 10 at 1 o'clock. I was good. I was like, this is going to your bloodstream. So, Hope, what questions do you have? I'm going to shush so you can ask your question.
So I know. So if you're perimenopause, you can still do the pellets, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I know Stephanie kind of talked about like she gets the hot flashes and different things. So what if you're not experiencing like a low libido? Will the pellets affect it? So like if you have a normal or high libido and your perimenopause, will the pellets affect that? Will it change it? Or will it decrease it or increase it? Like what are the side effects?
That's a good question, Hope. Hypersexuality is actually one of the side effects that I, talk about when a patient's in the room with me. honestly, I've had one lady where that happened to. And so what we do is, of course, we talk and we listen. And if you say that to me, I'm going to dial it back on the testosterone. I'm not going to give you as much as your dosing may indicate that you need, because I know that it was maybe a little bit too much for you. But in treating you initially, I'm if you tell me you have a high libido, I'm not going to back off for the initial treatment, because I want you to get the full effect and then go from there.
Okay. I know you also talked about it, that it helps with the memory, or the brain fog, or maybe mood swings, maybe depression, whatever. So even with the pellet, I mean, I know all of that can help with all of those things, but do you recommend your clients do anything additional with the depression? Like, what if it's just not because of the menopause? Like, do you encourage them to seek counseling as well, in case it could be a little more like a mixture of the menopause, or maybe like it's a balance, maybe?
No, absolutely, Hope. I tell patients all the time, the pellet, it's not like gonna fix everything, right? It's gonna help make things better, but it's not like the answer to all of your questions. Therapy is essential, and I think we we all need it. And of course, if you have low moods, I absolutely recommend that you seek therapy for sure.
I love that. All right, so we're going to take a little commercial, and then we're going to come back, because I want you to also talk about how does the pellet help with weight management, and what else you offer your clients for weight management, and just all of the things you offer. What can they expect if they come to visit Better You? Okay. All right. So you guys. Hey, you. Dr. Stephanie Wall here, your transformation architect. Now, listen, I just popped back in here again, because I know if you haven't signed up already for the Mission Brand New You Summit, oh my gosh, look, you all, listen, I don't know what there is I can tell you. I can't give you everything right now. You got to come into the information session to get this information, and where I will be there. Me, Dr. Stephanie, the transformation architect, will be there herself to walk you through all of everything. There's so much juice. See, we're not going to waste your time giving you all this information here. No. You got to come into the speaker. Come into the speaker information session. You can decide that if it's for you. But listen, now I just tell you one thing. I'm here to ask you, do you want to transform the world? I'm here to ask you, how much do you want to make a difference in the world that you live in? I'm here to ask you, do you have a story that is transforming? I'm here to ask you, do you love your life? And if you've changed your life, if you've transformed your life, are you willing to use your story to help somebody else to transform theirs? I am Dr. Stephanie Wall, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited, you all, to tell you that there's so many wonderful things that's going to transform not only your life, but the lives of every person that's across the globe that's going to participate in the Mission Brand New You Summit that's going to be taking place coming up in just a few months in March. So come on in. Come in and let your story, your very presence transform somebody else. Go ahead. Be the pill. Be the medication that you've always known that you were, to transform the lives of someone else. Be amazing. Help someone else. This is Dr. Delaturo McNeil says, help somebody else to see it before they see it, so that they can see it. I can't wait. Fire. Come on, share your story. All right, you all. Now, listen, I know I said coming up in months, but it is March the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Oh, 16th, 17th, 18th. One of those. But you all, you don't want to miss it. All right, we got to get back to Dr. Clarke. All right, Dr. Clarke. All right, so I want you to take this time and I want you to tell them, we're going to hope and not going to fall back because I want you to tell them a little bit about you. Like, give them a little bit background. You know, folks always want to know, well, besides all this goodness Stephanie has told us and what we've heard, why should we come see Dr. Clarke Bennett? And what is Dr. Clarke Bennett? How does she serve besides how does she, the pellets?
Sure, sure. Again, Dr. Clarke Bennett, a Better You, Medi Spa. I've been practicing for about 20 years. Completed my undergraduate at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, medical school at University of Medicine and Dentistry in New Jersey, residency training at Georgetown in Washington, D.C. After residency, I took a liking to urgent care, so worked in the urgent care arena for about 8 years before, opening a Better You. I, in working in the urgent care arena for about 8 years, honestly seeing 40 to sometimes 60 patients a day, got burned out and just wanted to do more for patients other than, putting on the proverbial Band-Aid. You treat them, street them, they come back for the same things over and over and over again. So I wanted to do something to be more impactful in health and wellness. And that's how, a Better You came about 8 years ago. So I've been at a Better You, or a Better You was born 8 years ago. And, the purpose, a Better You is for betterment, of yourself, your own health and well-being. We like to treat the whole patient, understanding the social, economic, and health and personal aspects of the patient, and not just the one simple thing that they came in for, because a lot of times there's a lot more going on. So that's a Better You, or how it came about. I like to think of us as a one-stop shop for health, wellness, and beauty. um, Health and wellness services include medical weight loss, IV hydration, which is important now with the pandemic, flu, COVID, RSV. Boosting your immune system through IV therapy can be beneficial. We also offer medical cannabis certifications. Medical cannabis, many patients come to us for chronic pain, trouble sleeping, and the mood disorders such as anxiety, depression, and the other top diagnosis is PTSD. For medical, we also offer, the hormone optimization service for both men and women. For men who have some trouble down below the belt, we offer specific treatments for erectile dysfunction using shockwave therapy, and that's again only for men. On the beauty side, I offer Botox injections, fillers, chemical peels, um, microdermabrasion, laser hair removal. We have a great device that can treat, my Caucasian patients as well as my darkest colored patients in a comfortable way. It's not the regular laser hair device that snaps you like a rubber band and it's quite painful. Our device is more warm, and it's pain free, and it's quick. We offer hydrofacials and PRP therapy for hair regrowth, skin rejuvenation, and I also inject PRP into the penis for erectile dysfunction. It improves function, length, and girth all at the same time. So those are the services that we offer. What was the other question, Dr. Stephanie?
Let me tell you about how, as you were explaining, I was looking at, I'm in the background, but I'm looking at Hope's face. And when you said about the injection and the penis, she was like,
Everybody does that, but the guys, they always come back for their second, third, or fourth one. So
no way. Okay, but so I got a couple questions.
yeah.
All right, which I love because I mean, most of the things you mentioned, I see, and All right, so and I actually had I had the one of the IV treatments, But I feel like it needs that you to get the best benefit. It can't be a one-time thing.
Correct. So patients can come every 2 weeks, once a month, even once a week, depending on what you're going through at that time.
Yeah, and who is the best candidate for the IV? Now, let me ask you. Now, this is gonna sound silly, but I'm serious. I'm serious. All right, so there's treatment, like there's places that there's clinics, so like the oxygen clinics and IVs, and but there's specific. Some of the top clients are people that are experiencing hangovers. Is it
Oh,
really good for that?
oh, absolutely. Mondays are a popular day for IV therapy.
Ha ha! Baby, don't y'all go rushing up in there every Monday because you may be blocking my appointment. No, I'm just kidding. But maybe not so much. But now, the cannabis is cannabis good for pain? Like really good for pain?
That's the top diagnosis that we see: chronic pain, sleep, and mood issues. Medical cannabis in Maryland is great because a, a lot of patients or people don't realize that you don't have to smoke marijuana or cannabis to get the benefits.
That
You
was
know,
my question.
yeah, in Maryland, you can have edibles. My pain patients tell me that the bombs or salves really help their hand pain, their knee pain. I have a nurse who uses it on her lower back, and it doesn't cause any psychoactivity, and it doesn't have a strong smell, so she's able to use it during the day
That
at
was
work.
going to be my question as well. So
Yeah,
wait a minute. Does now medical marijuana? So does that mean that their insurance covers it?
no, man.
Okay.
Insurance
Okay.
doesn't cover anything to help you look better, feel better, or function better.
Of course it doesn't. That's all right. Now um on the beauty side, so you do laser hair removal,
Laser hair removal, face, back,
and you
all
don't
of it.
and yours don't do that pop it. Because I
No.
would say I have a little mark right here on my face, and I from me trying to get a laser hair removal, and it was a whole burn.
Oh,
But now that I'm gonna to their credit, they had it up high, but to their credit, it burned because I hadn't removed all my makeup.
mm,
You know how you need to have all you cannot be having a little bit on
no.
nowhere, and so it singed. But needless to say, that was I let it go. But now, does laser hair removal remove all of your hair, and does it grow back? Because I'm trying to help the mythbusters, you all.
No.
And
Yeah.
does it grow back thicker?
A good question, Stephanie. So we many patients think that laser hair removal is permanent. The real only permanent hair loss mechanism is through electrolysis, where you actually burn each individual follicle, right? So it's time consuming, it's painful. Laser hair removal, while it's not permanent per se, the majority of the hair is gone after 6 to 8 sessions. And no, it does not grow back thicker. It actually grows back much, much, much finer. So sometimes a patient may need a touch up, maybe the next year or, whatever. But it depends if the patient is getting hormones or, if she's just prone to, being more hairy, if you will. Then, every patient's timeline is going to be different as far as when they're going to need another service. You're muted.
Just as I said, that's what a little thing said. Your mic. Where's my cup? I have a cup that says you're muted. Look, there is my best. You know my friend Mickey. She and I have. She's like, girl, I'm hairy. I'm hairy. It is what it is. She's like, girl, I don't get no hair like that. Like she just does not. But she says that she like with menopause, her hair just stopped kind of growing.
Mhm.
Well, I'm like, what? Well, when is it gonna kick in for me? Does it? I mean, it
Sorry.
does not. Oh, dang. Okay. But and I was keeping hope alive with that one. So, okay? What kind of weight management do you offer?
So pretty much we can do almost anything that's out there. Patients want an appetite suppressant as long as you your medical history is appropriate or consistent with taking a appetite suppressant, because they do have side effects such as increasing your blood pressure, increasing your heart rate. And if you already have high blood pressure, I'm not going to want to add something that's going to further increase your blood pressure just to help you lose weight. Um, some patients come in for B12 and lipotropic injections, which help your energy, which help detox or clean out your liver so it functions better. When your liver works better, it improves your metabolism. So patients come in once a week, oftentimes for B12 and lipotropic injections. We also offer Ideal Protein, which is a great ketogenic lifestyle changing protocol, which is a protocol. And I like to say it's dummy proof, because we actually give you a sheet of paper and we say, you know, exactly what you can eat. And if it's not on the sheet, guess what? You can't have it. So don't ask. It is a moderate protein, low carb, low fat protocol. And it is a protocol. Once you are near your ideal weight, instead of having 3 products daily, you're going to have 2 products, and introducing back more of your own foods for a couple weeks. And then you go into stabilization, where we help you add even more of your own foods and less products to your daily regimen to maintain your weight loss. Dr. Stephanie, if you want to.
And I'll show you. So, does one have to stay on the product, if you will, for the rest of their life to maintain it?
No, absolutely not. That's the stabilization phase where the coach and myself can help you navigate regular foods, whole foods, to help you maintain that weight loss. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and it is a process. That's why it's really a protocol.
Okay. So you all, I tried that as well, and I do like that. I tried it all, right? But I like that because, one, the food's pretty tasty. Really love those brownies. I know y'all, brownies, caramel bars,
Monday.
crazy. I know you all know brownies today, but now pancakes. I'm always have folks from my folks that from Black CEO. We have our morning meeting every morning, early in the morning. I'm always talking about making my pancakes. They're like, pancakes, right? But I even have my husband eating these pancakes with the syrup, which is sugar free. He loves it. Now I'm going to tell you that if you tried everything else, you might as well try this too. And particularly if you are feeling, that you're feeling like, I've tried everything, I'm sick of it, I'm tired of going up and down and down and up and just, this super yo-yo, and nothing not working. Like you might go a little bit, but I'm telling you, if that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, 50, 60, I won't speak for my friends, but I've got a girlfriend who's lost over 60 pounds, right? And then I'm sure you got many that your clients have lost it, and they look fabulous. Is it but like anything else, you have to do the work. You have to commit to it. And there will be ups and downs, but you won't be way up out of control, never to come back again, like many other things. And you will feel better versus feeling worse, and it won't affect your blood pressure. Because see, I am one with that situation. Hope you have any additional questions.
I did actually, and I forgot what it was. It was about the cannabis. So how does that work with you? So do you see the patient, you determine what it is, the need, what they're requesting it for, or what the need is for? Do you prescribe it and then they have to go to the dispensary, or do you distribute it as well?
No. So it's a recommendation or a certification that our office gives the patient so that he or she can go to the medical cannabis dispensary to purchase their medication. In Maryland, there's over 100 dispensaries available.
So they still have to fill out, I know it's an application or something, and then, so they fill out the application and then they see you determine whether it's something that you believe would help them with their condition. And then if you agree, you write the prescription, it gives them the license or whatever.
Correct. Correct. So the first step is to go to the website, mmcc.maryland, all spelled out, .gov. And you just click on the button that says register as a new patient. And in the past, it was taking the Cannabis Commission about 6 weeks to give you your approval. Now it's taking a day or so.
I think it's because it's becoming more popular. I think more people are getting into it. Like you said, a lot of people are using it for different things. And since there's, it's not just a matter of smoking it, there's the oils, there's the rubs. So there's so many different things for it. And people with, PTSD, the depression, the body aches. So yeah, I think there's just so many uses for it. I think it's one of those things, like, I think it's happening so quick. Some people haven't adapted to it. They think of marijuana for just recreational use, not realizing that it has medical benefits to it as well.
Absolutely. And as you know, in July, it will be recreational or legal in the state of Maryland.
That's correct. And one thing, on that same note, what, or not just that same note, but what is it that how do you treat your patients who are suffering or living with, rather, PTSD?
You mean with medical cannabis? So
Yes.
we make recommendations as far as what they can look for in the dispensaries. But it's, as the provider, we are not telling them exactly what to buy and when to use and how much to use, because it's not a prescription per se. It's more of a recommendation.
And you mentioned, because many people suffer, I didn't know about the balm, the cream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's odorless, not, or it doesn't have a strong odor.
Correct.
Okay. And it doesn't cause any type of euphoria. You're not getting anything like that.
No.
But I'm assuming that it's like any topical. You don't want to put too much on, because it's still a prescription once they, or no.
Correct. And the patients tell me that a little bit goes a long way. So it's really subjective as far as how much you use.
Okay. All right, so it is 7:20. So I want to ask. This is where I want you. We're gonna fall back because we want you to talk to that person who is experiencing menopause or peri, but they are suffering in silence because they are afraid to do something about it. Please talk to that person.
Yeah, so the first step is picking up the phone and making that phone call, and knowing that, one, you're not alone. Many other ladies are suffering with the same thing in silence, but it's up to you being intentional, picking up the phone, calling, and scheduling that appointment. And coming in to talk to me doesn't mean that, you're going to get the pellets. We're going to talk, we're going to do a consultation and come up with a plan. If the pellets are appropriate for you and something that we believe may help you, we do blood work. We do blood work for all patients anyway, medical weight loss patients, all of our hormone patients, because it should be the mainstay or the starting point for all treatments. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so come in. It's non-intimidating. I don't think I'm intimidating. My office staff is very professional, very nice. I think Dr. Stephanie can attest to that. And we try to make you as comfortable as possible. I always say I want patients to feel better when they leave the office than when they came in to see us.
And I concur. After I come in, I'm talking to the girls like we like best buddies. The ladies in there. So I want to know because we talked about the pellets, we talked about other things. What other treatments? Because I don't think we touched on it. Do you offer your clients in reference to menopause? If they're not doing, let's say they're not a good fit for the pellets, what would you do with those people?
Probably the medical cannabis, because it helps. It also helps your sleep. It can help your mood. You can get more energy, and then it also depends on what else they're complaining about. Is it a weight issue? You know, that we talk about medical weight loss and help them in that regard. Because oftentimes when we lose weight, we feel better because we're losing weight by eating better, first and foremost, and participating in some physical activity. And those things in and of itself helps you to feel better. So again, it all depends on all the things that are going on with that particular patient and prioritizing the ones that are going to make the most impact.
So where can they find you? Where are you located, Dr. Clarke Bennett? I know, but tell them.
Now we're located off of Main Street, Laurel, 525 Main Street, Suite 101. A little bit difficult to find, I think. You have to drive through a Patuxent apartment building to get to the 525 building because the 525 building is not on Main Street proper, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So just imagine, for those of you that are familiar, if you're driving down Main Street, you're gonna make a right or a left, depending on which way you're coming on Main Street, into what appears to be like a industrial park or a medical park or a doctor's park, office park, if you will. It looks like, you can't really tell, but just because it looks like a office park, you have to go down and follow. Let your GPS guide you. It'll take you there. Once you get there, you'll see the front of the building. It's near a staircase. You'll see it. But let me just say this. Whatever you are experiencing, as Dr. Clarke Bennett already said, you aren't the only one,
Mm-hmm.
but you will feel like you're the only one, and you don't have to suffer with it. I don't, and some of us, it's a thing. I don't know. But I promise you, whatever you do, just go and do, as she mentioned, the consultation doesn't mean you have to do anything, but go and see what it is that you are experiencing, so you know at least what it is that you're dealing with. And then you can talk through what it is that you may need, right? What is the offerings and what you can move forward with. If you are experiencing weight issues, right? You need weight management. Please stop suffering with it and being angry and not feeling good about yourself. The world does a good enough job by itself, make us not feel good about ourselves. Don't add anything else. That is my 2 cents on that. But thank you, Dr. Clarke.
Thank you,
You have been amazing.
Thank you, Hope. Good to see you again.
This has been, and I know the folks are gonna have so many questions. So you all, the website is right there. It's been rolling the whole time. The www.a better you, does it say metaspa.com? But nonetheless, you can see it, and it will continue running even when the show is over. So you can keep watching and scroll through the bottom, and we'll also post it. I encourage you, if you go there, tell them, hey, we saw you on Dr. Stephanie's, on the Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. Hope, all right, you're going to close this out. And Dr. Clarke Bennett, do you have anything else that you want to tell the people before we let Hope close this out?
It's my pleasure, will be my pleasure to meet you and to serve you and to help you improve your health in general.
Thank you. All right, Hope, it's all yours.
Well, we thank you all for joining us tonight on our first show of the new year. And what a way to kick it off with talking about women's health and way to improve it. As we have talked about tonight, that you're not alone in this journey, and we're all here to support you along your journey. Whether you are going through menopause or perimenopause, depression, body aches, whatever is happening in your life, make yourself a focus on you, and take care of yourself. It is not selfish to take care of yourself and set time aside for yourself. So again, we look forward to you all joining us next week on Her Story, Our Story. Follow us, like us, YouTube, Facebook. And again, be the light and allow your light to shine and help someone else out. Good night, everyone. Thank you.